After a week of preparation, you and your friend are both certain that you were successful in avoiding summer school and need to ace the exam on Friday. Yet when you receive your marks, they're significantly worse than either of you had anticipated. You're inconsolable. Your friend, on the other hand, doesn't seem to be affected at all. Which makes you wonder why you can't get over this as they can. But should you really be attempting to see the positive side of things? Furthermore, is it even feasible to manage our emotions? The last question has a resounding yes as the response. Many ways exist to help us control our emotions. And the process model is one conceptual framework for doing so. Psychologists utilize this technique to pinpoint when and how to enter the process of emotion formation. There are 4 parts to this process. First, we enter a scenario, either actual or imagined, and it grabs our attention. The circumstance is then assessed to see if it advances or obstructs our objectives. The emotional response is the culmination of these changes in our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors brought on by this appraisal. The process model illustrates the many tactics we could use at each stage. And each step of this process presents a chance for us to deliberately interfere and alter our emotions. Imagine that your least favorite ex and their new partner have been invited to the same party as you in order to see this in action. The first thing you may do is skip the party in order to completely avoid the scenario. If you decide to go, though, you might try to change things by deciding not to speak to your ex. If that's proving to be challenging, you can wish to change your focus by, for example, playing a game with your friends rather than paying attention to your ex's new companion. Rethinking your perspective on the circumstance is an additional choice. You might discover that you don't care who your ex dates after giving the situation considerable consideration. You can always attempt limiting your emotional reaction after the fact if none of these tactics are successful. But it can be difficult. The simplest methods for doing this, such as suppressing your emotions or attempting to manipulate them with medicine, typically result in more unfavorable sentiments and long-term health issues. Long walks, deep breaths, and conversing with a member of your support system are more enduring solutions in this situation. While mastering any of these techniques will take time and effort, the first half of the battle is learning to recognize your emotions and consider their causes. Also, controlling your emotions gets lots simpler after you've really absorbed the ability to do so. But should you rely on these tricks to stay cheerful all the time? How you define what constitutes a good mood will determine the answer. It's easy to believe that we should always attempt to avoid feeling depressed or frustrated. But emotions aren't necessarily beneficial or detrimental, depending on the situation. For instance, if a buddy confides in you about the death of a loved one, feeling and expressing sadness is not only acceptable, but it can also help you understand and support them. On the other hand, while it's bad to ignore your feelings on a daily basis, faking a grin to get through a temporary inconvenience is totally acceptable. On emotions, we frequently receive conflicting signals. Others advise us to simply accept our feelings as they occur, while others put pressure on us to remain optimistic. Yet, in practice, everyone must discover their own equilibrium. Thus, if the query is, should you constantly aim to be happy? No, is the response. According to studies, persons who are preoccupied on happiness frequently suffer auxiliary negative feelings, such as shame or aggravation over being angry, as well as disappointment that they don't feel happier. This doesn't imply that you should allow sadness or rage rule your emotions. Yet, techniques like reappraisal can assist you in re-evaluating your perceptions of a circumstance, enabling you to accept your sadness and foster optimism that things will improve. Thanks for watching.